Like, I don't like anything about this. And I'm sorry if maybe I'm so detached from Cleveland that I'm not in the majority here.
They were not going to start Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders in week 1. Kenny Pickett had a hamstring injury. It makes it easy.
You and the Browns kept themselves from making what could have been a tough decision.
Jason Kelce just dropped a bomb on Cleveland, and it's blowing up everywhere. The Browns owner is reportedly furious after Kelce ripped into their shaky quarterback plan for the whole world to see. This is a brutal wake-up call for a franchise already haunted by failure, and it could spark the kind of storm that changes everything.
I don't know what the majority of Clevelanders want, which is really what is most important.
Yeah.
All I know is I like
Jason Kelce doesn't speak just to hear his own voice. This is a guy with a Super Bowl ring, a respected podcast, and a reputation for being one of the few who can cut through the noise in the NFL. So when Kelce took aim at the Browns and their quarterback decisions, people paid attention. He asked the question fans were too nervous to ask. Are we really trusting Joe Flacco to lead this team? It wasn't a hot take. It was a reality check, and it hit Cleveland like a gut punch.
that his team interviews went poorly.
Here's why it stung so much. The Browns are supposed to be a team ready to make noise. They've got weapons on both sides of the ball, a defense that can suffocate drives, and 2 first-round picks lined up for next year. But Kelce's comments expose something ugly. They look scared. This isn't about hating on Flacco. It's about philosophy. Instead of building momentum and letting the future take shape, they grabbed a safety net. And in the NFL, safety nets usually mean you're playing not to lose.
We connect the dots that the guy that a couple years ago was great down the stretch and helping lead him to the playoffs is the guy that's going to start. Adam, what went into deciding this is our guy week 1?
The Joe Flacco move tells you everything. The man was practically done with football. He had 1 foot in the booth, another on the golf course, and suddenly he's wearing QB1 like a badge. That would be fine if he'd earned it this summer. But here's the kicker. He didn't take a single preseason snap, 0, and now he's supposed to lead a team into one of the toughest divisions in football. That's not confidence, that's hesitation.
I like when the elements play a role. I like when the elements play a role in football. I like that that's one of the unique things about the game.
The AFC North is no charity league. The Bengals have a loaded offense, the Ravens keep retooling, and the Steelers always play harder than their roster suggests. So the Browns choosing comfort at quarterback is like showing up to a heavyweight fight with a handshake. And that's what Kelce was calling out.
Let's not forget who the Cincinnati Bengals are. This is a family business. And sometimes in family business, when you give out a little bit too much cash, it's what they call a little cash strap. And I remember I used to ride in the back seat with my dad and be like, Pop.
It's hard to find a great quarterback in this league. If these teams really felt that Shedeur Sanders was a top first-round talent, they would have picked him.
And let's talk about those young quarterbacks. Shedeur Sanders isn't just another rookie. His name alone draws attention, but it's his skill set that's even louder. Accurate throws, poise under pressure, and leadership qualities you can't teach. Then there's Dylan Gabriel. No flash, no big family name, just a grinder who's been sharp and consistent every day in camp. Both showed flashes in preseason, both gave the fans something to think about. And yet, when it mattered most, both got buried. Shedeur is holding a clipboard. Gabriel is practically invisible in this storyline. That's the real problem. This isn't just a veteran over a rookie. It's talent sitting on the shelf while the team bets on the past.
Teams get this wrong all the time.
And here's the part that makes fans restless. Those preseason reps, gone. Wasted. That's where you find out what a young quarterback can do. That's where you make mistakes, learn, grow. Instead, the Browns went ultra conservative, giving these guys crumbs of opportunity.
If you're at all a self-confident person who believes in themselves and you're touted by a lot of people and you had the college career that he had, how could you not be upset that you fell this far?
Kelce's comments didn't just call out a quarterback, they called out a mindset. The Browns have the roster, they have the picks, they even have the fan base starving for a risk that could pay off big. But instead of building something bold, they've chosen to tread water. When a team loses games, owners hate it. But you know what really keeps them up at night? When someone respected, someone with weight behind their words, shines a spotlight on their decisions, and basically says, "What are you doing?" That's what Jason Kelce did to Cleveland. He didn't scream, he didn't rant. He calmly questioned the Browns' direction, and that calm is what stings.
He's not talking about guys that we hope or we think. These are 2 bona fide stars in the league between Hendrickson and McCoy.
They've demonstrated.
What is the bet?
The optics are brutal. The team keeps saying, "We believe in Joe." But do they? Because every time a coach or executive says it, it sounds less like confidence and more like someone trying to convince themselves. Fans can smell that a mile away. They've watched this franchise talk big before, only to collapse under the weight of its own decisions. When the season hasn't even started and the narrative is already, are the Browns panicking? You've got a problem. And if you think this kind of chatter doesn't get under an owner's skin, think again.
With concerns every year coming out about criminal behavior, off-field antics, and other things that get drafted in the first round.
Public doubt is poison for an NFL team. You can recover from injuries, you can recover from bad games, but once the belief is gone, once people start questioning if the people at the top know what they're doing, that's hard to shake. And the Browns, they've been living in that shadow for years. Every decision is magnified. Every quarterback change feels like another chapter in a very long, very frustrating book.
I don't like the fact that you could clearly see the glaring weakness on your football.
And that brings us to the curse, because let's be honest, quarterback drama in Cleveland is not new. It's practically tradition at this point. 30+ starting quarterbacks in the last 2 decades. 30. Do you know how insane that number is?
In practice drills, the number one defense can't stop them. People take notice of that, and the more that the players see it, then the comments start happening over the lunch table. They start happening throughout the building, and that's when the pressure really will get severe.
It's exhausting. Fans aren't just disappointed, they're tired. And this year was supposed to feel different. The roster has talent, the defense is strong, there's enough there to make noise. And instead of riding that energy, the front office looks like it's bracing for impact. And while Cleveland hesitates, the rest of the league isn't slowing down. Look around the AFC. The Bengals are locked and loaded with one of the best young quarterbacks in football. Baltimore is always lurking. Kansas City, they're chasing another ring. Buffalo, still a contender. These aren't teams that play scared. They play to win. They adjust. They take risks.
He didn't take a preseason snap with the Browns. They knew that this was the guy that they wanted to start. He's seasoned, he's experienced, he still has a big-time arm, even at his age, and they open with the Cincinnati Bengals.
But here's the reality check. Flacco's leash isn't just short, it's practically invisible. The first bad series, the first slow start, the chance will start. The media will turn up the heat. The fan base, already restless, will start asking the questions Kelce just asked. And once that noise starts, it's hard to turn down. Locker rooms feel it too. Players know when a team is unsure of its own plan. If the defense is playing lights out, but the offense is stumbling, frustration builds fast. And nothing kills a season quicker than doubt creeping in before October.
What do they have next year in the draft?
2 first-round draft picks, their own pick and Jacksonville's pick.
It's got to play into it.
Let's be real, players aren't dumb. They know exactly what's happening in that building. They see who's firing darts in practice, who's commanding the huddle, who's making defenders look silly during drills. And when someone like Shatter Sanders or Dylan Gabriel starts lighting it up on the scout team, you better believe the whispers start flying. It's human nature. If the backup looks sharper, the veterans notice. And those little comments in the locker room, man, that kid can sling it. Turn into side eyes at every missed throw. Confidence in football is like oxygen. When it's there, everything feels alive. When it's gone, everyone starts gasping.
The question is, who's going to be the backup in Cleveland? Who's going to be the number 2 quarterback when they open the season against these Bengals?
And that's the real storm brewing here. Belief spreads fast, but so does doubt. One bad series from Joe Flacco, 1 3-and-out too many, and suddenly the mood shifts. Veterans especially have short patience for uncertainty. They've seen careers wasted on teams that couldn't pick a direction, and they can smell fear. When leadership feels shaky, that vibe leaks into every meeting, every snap, every sideline conversation. Flacco's toughest opponent isn't Cincinnati or Baltimore. It's the clock ticking on how long the locker room buys in before frustration takes over.
It's way better. They just don't want to pay for it, Travis. Or they don't want to cooperate with the city. That's the only reason this is not in downtown Cleveland.
Zoom out, and it's even bigger than one game. This is about Cleveland's identity. Are they building something bold for the future, or just duct taping holes until the wheels fall off? They've got 2 first-round picks coming, which could mean fresh QB blood if this season implodes. But indecision now could stunt everything. Jason Kelce's comments weren't just shade. They were a flare shot straight into the front office. Stop being scared. Fans want risks. The NFL rewards risks. And if the Browns keep clinging to safe, they're going to get called out again and again. And trust me, Kelce won't be the last one with a microphone. Like this video and subscribe to the channel to get more updates on Browns' quarterback.